in the wild, wind-swept moors of Northumberland, where the Anglo-Scottish Borderlands stretched like a scar across the earth. The ruins of ancient castles stand as silent sentinels of a turbulent past. Their crumbling stones, cloaked in mist and moss, whispered tales of bloodshed, betrayal, and unrelenting violence. Among these tales, none is more chilling than that of the Redcap, a malevolent creature whose name alone sends shivers down the spines of those who dare to speak it. Known as the Bloody Bonnet in the taverns of Jedburgh and the hearths of Carlisle, the Redcap is no mere ghost story, but a nightmare woven into the very fabric of the Borderlands folklore. The Redcap is said to be a goblin of grotesque visage, a short, hunched figure no taller than a child, yet imbued with a sinister strength. Its form is that of a gnarled old man, its skin wrinkled like ancient leather, its hands tipped with iron talons sharp enough to rend flesh from bone. Its eyes blaze with a crimson fire, glinting with malice, and its mouth twists into a cruel sneer, revealing jagged, yellowed teeth. Atop its head sits its namesake, a cap stained a deep, glistening red, perpetually wet with the blood of its victims. This cap is no mere adornment, but the source of the Redcap's unnatural vitality. Legend holds that if the cap ever dries, the creature will wither and perish, its cursed existence snuffed out like a candle in the wind. To prevent this, the Redcap kills without remorse, dipping its cap in the lifeblood of those it slaughters to keep its power alive. The Redcap haunts desolate places, crumbling castles, abandoned peel towers, and forgotten forts across the Borderlands. These are not random lairs, but sites steeped in violence, where the air is heavy with the memory of war, murder, and treachery. Hermitage Castle, a brooding fortress in Liddesdale, is whispered to be a favoured haunt, its dank corridors echoing with the Redcap's cackling laughter. The ruins of Elston and the shattered walls of Smailholm Tower are also marked by its presence, their stones said to bear the faint, rust-coloured stains of its grim work. To stumble upon such a place after nightfall is to court death, for the Redcap is ever watchful, its hunger insatiable. To understand the Redcap, one must first understand the Borderlands, a region defined by centuries of conflict. Straddling the frontier between England and Scotland, this was a land of shifting allegiances, where clans and kingdoms clashed in a relentless struggle for dominance. From the medieval wars of independence to the lawless era of the Border Reivers, raiders who plundered livestock and lives with impunity, the Borderlands were a crucible of violence. Castles like Hermitage were not just homes but fortresses. Their walls witnessed sieges, executions, and betrayals. The ground itself seemed to drink the blood of the fallen, and the wind carried the cries of the slain. In such a world, fear was a constant companion. Travelers braved lonely roads at their peril, wary of reivers, outlaws, and worse. The Redcap, in the eyes of folklorists, is a manifestation of this pervasive dread, an embodiment of the ever-present threat of death that lurked in the shadows. The Borderlands were a place where life was cheap and danger was everywhere, says Professor Ailsa Kerr of Edinburgh University, a scholar of Celtic and Anglo-Saxon mythology. The Redcap is the personification of that violence, a creature born from the collective trauma of a people who lived with the spectre of bloodshed every day. Some tales suggest the Redcap is more than a goblin, that it is a spirit of vengeance, spawned from the restless souls of those who died unjustly in the Borderlands wars. Others claim it was conjured by dark sorcery, perhaps by a warlock seeking to curse a rival clan. Whatever its origins, the Redcap is a predator of cunning and cruelty. luring its victims with whispers in the dark or the promise of shelter in a storm. A weary traveler, seeking refuge in a ruined tower, might hear the creak of a floorboard or catch a glimpse of a crimson cap in the moonlight, moments too late to escape the creature's talons. The Redcap's methods are as horrifying as its appearance. It does not merely kill, it revels in the act, savoring the terror of its prey. Stories tell of wanderers found lifeless in castle ruins, their bodies drained of blood, their faces frozen in expressions of abject horror. The Redcap's cap, freshly dipped, gleams wetly in the aftermath, a grotesque trophy of its triumph. Yet the creature is not invincible. Border folklore holds that the Redcap recoils from the power of faith. A fervent recitation of Holy Scripture, Psalm 23, is said to be particularly effective, or the brandishing of a crucifix can drive it back, its snarls of rage echoing as it flees into the shadows. Those who survive an encounter with the Redcap are rare, and their tales are treated with a mix of awe and skepticism. One such account, recorded in a 17th century chronicle from Roxburghshire, tells of a shepherd named Tam Linley, who sought shelter in the ruins of Fatlip's castle during a blizzard. As he warmed his hands by a makeshift fire, he heard a low, guttural chuckle from the darkness. Turning, he saw a figure crouched in the corner, its red cap glistening as if freshly soaked. Tam, a devout man, clutched the cross around his neck and recited a prayer, his voice trembling but resolute. The creature let out a shriek, its eyes flaring with fury, before vanishing into the storm. The next morning, Tam found a single, yellowed tooth on the threshold of the ruin, its surface etched with strange, spiraling runes. He never returned to Fatlip's, and the tooth, kept as a talisman, was said to ward off evil until it was lost in a fire generations later. Such relics are a hallmark of Redcap lore, the creature's teeth, described as large and fang-like, are said to be left behind as a taunt or a warning, their presence a grim reminder of its power. In the village of Otterburn, an innkeeper claims to possess one such tooth, displayed in a glass case above the bar. Locals swear it hums faintly on moonless nights, though skeptics dismiss it as a boar's tusk polished for tourists. Beyond its role as a boogeyman, the Redcap holds a mirror to the psyche of the Borderlands people. Its blood-soaked cap is a potent symbol of the cycle of violence that defined the region, where one act of bloodshed begat another, perpetuating a legacy of retribution. The creature's need to keep its cap wet reflects the relentless nature of conflict, where peace was fleeting and survival demanded constant vigilance. In this sense, the Redcap is not just a monster, but a metaphor for the guilt, fear, and moral decay that linger in the wake of war. The Redcap also embodies the liminal nature of the Borderlands themselves, a place neither fully English nor Scottish, caught between worlds. Its haunts, the ruined castles, are thresholds between the past and present, the mortal and the supernatural. To encounter a Redcap is to cross into a realm where the rules of the living no longer apply, where the sins of history demand reckoning. This liminality extends to the creature's form, neither fully human nor beast. It defies categorization, existing as a nightmare made flesh. For the people of the Borderlands, the Redcap was a cautionary tale, a warning to respect the sanctity of sacred places and the dangers of straying too far from the light. Children were told to avoid old ruins, lest they become the Redcap's next victim. Travelers carried charms, crosses, rowan twigs, or scraps of scripture, hoping to ward off its wrath. Even today, some farmers in Northumberland leave offerings of bread or ale at the edges of castle grounds, a quiet nod to traditions older than memory. Though the age of reavers and border wars has long passed, the Redcap's shadow lingers. The Borderlands, now a place of rolling hills and quaint villages, retain an air of mystery, their landscapes dotted with the skeletal remains of castles that once stood as bulwarks against invasion. Tourists flock to sites like Hermitage Castle, drawn by its grim history and the allure of its legends. Guides recount Redcap tales with a wink, but locals are less cavalier. "You don't mock the Redcap," says Maggie Robson, a shopkeeper in Howick. "Not if you've felt the cold in those old stones, or heard something move when you're alone." The Redcap has also found a place in modern culture, its image adapted in literature, games, and film. Fantasy novels cast it as a demonic imp, while role-playing games depict it as a bloodthirsty foe. Yet these interpretations often strip away the creature's cultural weight, reducing it to a generic monster. In the Borderlands, the Redcap remains a deeply rooted symbol, its story told in community halls, schools, and festivals that celebrate the region's folklore. The annual Border Reavers Festival in Kelso features a reenactment of a Redcap encounter, complete with a cap-wearing actor whose performance leaves children wide-eyed and adults quietly uneasy. Scholars continue to debate the Redcap's origins. Some link it to older Celtic myths of malevolent fairies, such as the Irish feared Dorag Red Man, whose crimson attire marked him as a trickster. Others see parallels with Germanic goblins or the Norse Draugr, undead beings tied to places of death. Whatever its roots, the Redcap is a uniquely Borderlands creation, its story shaped by the region's history and the fears of its people. Whether the Redcap ever truly stalked the ruins of the Borderlands is a question that may never be answered. Skeptics dismiss it as a folktale born of superstition, a way to explain the unexplained in a world without streetlights or law. Believers, however, point to the stories that persist, the teeth that surface, and the chill that settles over certain ruins at dusk. Perhaps the Redcap is a ghost, a goblin, or the echo of a guilty conscience. Perhaps it is all these things and more, a reminder that some places are forever marked by the blood spilled upon them. So, if you find yourself wandering the Borderlands, heed the wisdom of those who came before. Stick to the well-trodden paths, where the light of day holds sway. Carry a cross or a prayer, and listen for sounds that do not belong. The creak of a stair, the rustle of cloth, or the low, guttural laugh of something ancient and cruel. And if, by some ill fate, you spy a crimson cap lying upon the stones of a forgotten castle, do not linger. Turn back, speak no word, and pray you have not caught the Redcap's eye. For in the Borderlands, where history and horror intertwine, the bloody bonnet is always watching, its cap ever thirsty for blood. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, subscribe, and comment below.